Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and this is Constellation Library. Today we are going to be doing the end of year book tag. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like 2021 I blinked and now it's midway through November. And I'm not sure if anyone else feels that way, but I feel like 2020 took about 5 years and then 2021 took about 30 minutes. So it's definitely been an odd last couple of years for sure. I can't believe we're getting ready to go into 2022 and I'm still recovering from 2020. But here we are. So I just want to go right into this book tag. I had done several different tags back in the day when I was the Bookish Witch, and since changing my channel over to the Constellation Library, I have not done any book tags. So, and I don't think I did this one at all before either. So this is the first time I'm doing it, and I hope you guys enjoy. So to jump right into the questions, the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, thankfully not a ton of them. A couple of them I'm currently like in the act of reading. But the first one of those is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And I am about 100 pages from the end of this. I am having a bit of a book hangover because I just finished reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which I was reading at the same time that I was reading this one. And I finished that one and it kind of let me into a little bit of like a book hangover. And so I needed some space from it because when I went to try to read this afterward, it was so simple by comparison that it wasn't holding my attention. So my hope is to finish this one before the weekend, ideally. I'm just going to take it a chapter at a time if it feels like a slog. It's a very cute book. It was just probably a bad choice on my part to be trying to read this at the same time as reading The Way of Kings. Especially with the Sanderlanche at the end of The Way of Kings, like, totally blew me away. And when I got to this one afterward, I'm just like, this is so nice and so simple. Not that simple's bad, but just very different books. So anyway, I'm babbling. That one, also, I am listening to on audiobook City of Brass, which I'll probably switch to reading some of it because I don't super love the narrator. She's not bad. She was really annoying in the beginning and has somewhat improved. And it's not, I feel bad saying that because I'm sure she's a perfectly nice human being, but the way that she voiced Nari, the main character in here, she sounded really whiny. I don't know if she's supposed to sound really whiny, but the inflection she did in her voice was really whiny, so yeah. But I am still listening to it. I may switch over to reading it. I am probably about 150 pages in since what I listened to today, so I hope to have that one done as well, preferably this month. It's part of November's TBR. The next book is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I had started this one as well, but I'll honestly probably just restart it because I think I was only like 30 pages in. But I know this is really not the season probably for this because this is more of like a summer romance type thing, but I'm just in the mood for a summer romance because it gets dark at 5 o'clock in Ohio right now. So I definitely want to try to get this one done before the end of the year as well. And next and last is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So having read The Way of Kings and starting to get more into Sanderson's writing, obviously this is going to be more simple than the Stormlight Archive, but I know that Cytonic is coming out in a couple days, I think. And I started this one last year, I think, and never finished it. So I would like to probably just restart this one too, and get it done quickly enough that I read Cytonic before it's been out too long, because I would like to be up to date on that. I'd like to be up to date on a lot of series. Probably going to do a video about all the series that I've started and have not finished. So, but yes, these four are the books that I want to finish before the end of the year, in addition to, you know, other things that I have on my TBR, but these are the priority ones. So question number 2 says, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I think I'm doing this book tag a little bit later than some other people have because it's basically winter. It feels like it snowed the other day. So I don't really feel overly autumnal anymore. Um, so maybe a book that would transition into winter. And there is one that I'm going to start in December. So I will tell you about that in a moment because it's actually part of the answer to another question. The third question is there a new release you're still waiting for? And that would be Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. I think there might be a couple other things that I was hoping to get that are coming out in November, but nothing that I can remember off the top of my head, so I'm not obviously that overly excited about it. But I definitely want to get Cytonic when it comes out. My husband is already caught up and he'll be reading it first. So at least, you know, it'll take me a little bit to get to it, but at least it'll be getting read by somebody pretty much as soon as it is available. Question number 4 says, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So the 3 books, and I know one of them is a long shot, but the first of the 3 books is Brandon Sanderson's Words of Radiance. This is totally going to be pretty far-fetched for me to finish before January, but I'm going to make the attempt to at least get a good chunk of it read. It took me 3 or 4 months to finish Way of Kings, and it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It was just a lot, and it was really dense, and I had to take breaks and read other things, and I just also was waiting on the audiobook. Like, I would listen to however many hours of the audiobook before it would have to go back, and then I'd have to wait for it to get checked out again, and there's like 45 or 46 hours, and I listened on like 1.5 to 1.75 speed, but it still was like a week long of work length of books. So definitely took a while to get that one. But this one I would like to at least start and at least get a good chunk of the way through. I don't know if this book suffers from book 2 syndrome, if it is kind of slumpy by comparison to the first and subsequent books. I'll just have to see, but this is the first one. There are 2 others. The second one is actually my in-person book club book for November that I have not started yet because I'm a massive failure, but I'll get to it, and that is Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I absolutely adored The 10,000 Doors of January. Loved it. So pretty excited about this one. I'm not really in the mood for it right now, if I'm being completely honest with you, but I don't have too much of a choice because it is my in-person book club's pick for the month. So I'm at least going to give it the old college try. I may actually start reading this one tonight, put Howl's Moving Castle on the back burner, and try to get this one done. Obviously, I think we're actually meeting, and we usually meet at the end of every month, but because it's right around Thanksgiving and the holidays, we're not meeting till the 4th of December for this one, so I still have some time. It's kind of chunky, but like the pages are thick and the text isn't very small, so it shouldn't be too hard to get through this one. And the final book that I would like to finish before the end of the year is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I've actually read this one before. It'll be a reread for me, and there's a reason for that, which I will discuss in another video, but I am pretty excited for this. I loved this world. I loved the atmosphere. So if we're talking about a transitionary book, this is definitely one to transition into winter, and winter doesn't truly start in Ohio until mid-December going into like January. Like, obviously based on the calendar it's like mid-December, but it doesn't really start feeling like frigid cold winter until the end of December, beginning of January. So I guess this would be my transitionary book at this point. But yeah, so pretty excited to get back into this world. I never finished the 3rd book in the series, and it took me a while to finish the 2nd one because I think I was just in a weird place in my life and didn't get through it very fast. But I would like to do a reread of the series because your girl would really like to dive back in to the world. So that is the last of the books that I definitely want to get to before the end of the year. The next question, which I think is question 5, is there a book that you think will shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Of the ones I mentioned, I don't really know, because right now When I think back to the books that I have read so far this year that are really like doing it for me, Way of Kings is way up there. Sorry, I'm checking my Goodreads because I can't bring to mind what I have actually read so far this year. Guys, I do not use this website on my computer very often, so I'm a little disoriented here. Okay, reading challenge. All right, so looking through what I have read this year, truthfully, because I read the entirety of the ACOTAR series, ooh, I don't know, man. So tied for my favorites so far would have to be A Court of Mist and Fury, obviously. Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, and The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Those are my top three. I don't know what order I would put them in within the top three. They're all just kind of at the same level at the moment. But yeah, those are my favorite books that I have read so far this year. I really don't see any of them that I listed earlier surpassing those, but I guess there's never say never. So I really don't think that any of the books I listed will shock me and become my favorite of the year. They may, you know, be really good ones that I enjoy and recommend to others, but unless Words of Radiance blows Way of Kings out of the water, then I think that those top three I listed are probably going to stay up there in the top three. All right, so the last question, question number 6, asks, have you already started making reading plans for 2022? And yes, I have. So for 2021, I decided to do the 21 and 2021 challenge because I knew that I was going to be in grad school and busy and reading for that, and I just really didn't know how many books that I was going to get to, so I tried to be more conservative in my goal. And I'm glad I did that because I met that goal and exceeded it. I believe I've read 38 books, so not as much as I know I can read in a year, but definitely more than I had initially planned to, and surpassing that goal really made me feel good about myself. Especially, you know, having a child who was under a year old and doing grad school, maintaining my 4.0, all that sort of thing. So I'm going to probably do the same thing going into 2022 and try to only do 22 books. Ideally, I would like to have the 22 be books that I already own right now. I would like to limit my book buying, and I doubt that's going to happen just because I know myself, but I would like for at least that part of my reading goals to be books I already own. I know that there are anticipated reads. I have a list of anticipated reads that are coming out next year, and I do plan to buy those. There's surprisingly not a lot of things that have jumped out at me like there were this year, but there are some, and I'm compiling that list, which will actually be in another video coming soon. So I'm just, like I said, compiling that list, 22 books that I already own. I know that I want to read for Asian Heritage Month. I didn't have very many books by Asian authors back in last year, year before. This year, I have a few, but I didn't come back to BookTube really until after May anyway. So, and I don't know that I was reading a lot during that month, just with school and everything. So I want to try to be purposeful with it and make sure that I do that, because there are several books by Asian authors that are coming out that look fantastic. I actually have Iron Widow I just bought in anticipation, and then I have The Beast Player and Beast Warrior as well. All of these that I've bought thinking I could read these during that month. There's definitely more that are coming out than what I would be able to read in a month, just because I know myself and I just know myself. So, but let's see if there's anything else that jumps out at me that I already have. I know I have others, but I'm not sure if they are. There's Descendant of the Crane is another one that I have. And then These Violent Delights is another one that I have. And there is Shadow of the Fox. And then there is Six Crimson Cranes. So as you can see, I'm compiling a tidy stack of Asian authors that I hope to read. So, but there are going to be others. And like I said, they are part of my most anticipated reads of the year list. So we'll just have to talk about those when I make that video. Hopefully you will hang out and watch that one whenever it uploads. But that is the end of the book tag. I really appreciate you guys listening. So if you made it this far, leave a bear emoji for the bear and the nightingale. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.